Alright lads, so today starting off the showcase for the brand new resurrectable character. Today we're showcasing and highlighting potentially the best resurrected character in the entire game, that being of course Candice Catnip. Now for today's showcase we are using her at basically max transcendence, level 10 attack, SP, and of course also focus. Candice originally 4 years ago was one of the best characters in the game, so going into a resurrection there was quite a lot of expectations of it being good, especially given that she was a 1000-year Blood War character, and I would like to say Cat did a really good job. In this case, for starters, her soul trait, originally being 12% recharge, is now that with damage to paralyzed enemies, which to be fair isn't really the greatest soul trait. It is more of a niche use, but I personally don't mind it given that Mind already has access to some really good soul traits. Most importantly, there's a really good chance we get another really good soul trait in literally less than 2 weeks time, as Koga is bound to receive his resurrection next. And the theory, at least for me, is the reason why they gave her this soul trait is because they plan to give Koga a better soul trait, which is definitely what we want more so, because he's a 14% recharge soul trait. Enough about Koga though, let's have a look at Candice's actual skills. Now, one of the great things that we are seeing with her resurrection and future 1000-year Blood War resurrections is that they were now given 2 innate skills. Previously, they only had 1. Her Havoc skill got moved from her actual skill tree to now her innate skill. And then she also did pick up Long Stride. I personally do like that. I like Long Stride on all my characters. And remember, recently at the start of the year, they did change the Long Stride ability. So even if you have it built in and you still want to give it to her as a bonus ability, she has double Long Strides. Now, alongside that, she also did pick up an additional 20% more damage to paralyzed enemies through her skills. So overall, with the soul tree, it's now 40%. She got an extra 10% Berserker, originally being 20%, now been increased to 30%. Would have loved to see that be a tad bit higher, I will be honest. We're at 50% right now because we are using a Quincy Cross, giving us an additional 20% side. But most importantly, the best part about her resurrection is that she did actually pick up a 50% SP boost. Again, would love to see that be 80%, but still nonetheless, it's a really good skill to have. She's right now the second character in the game to have it, and funny enough, the 2 characters that have this skill are both Mind Attribute Aaroniero killers. So one of the main things you're seeing with this character's resurrection, since she already had good strong attacks, she already had Havoc, the only thing you could have done with this character is give her more utility effects and most importantly more damage, and she got that. A 50% SP boost, 40% more damage to paralyzed enemies, 10% more Berserker, and also Long Strides. In my opinion, this is already shaping up to be one of the best, or if not the best, resurrection in the game, and I'm excited to try her out. For the showcase, we are going to be using a Quincy Cross, a Fortification Pill, and of course also a Cape Fastener, with recharge and full stamina, recharge and more strong attack damage at full stamina, and then recharge and full stamina as soul traits. Bonus abilities include full stamina and also SP. And with that said, let's check out her gameplay. Alright, so first up, before we do take it into co-op quest, let's try out in single player inheritance trials. First up, quickly demonstrating her attacks. She has a really cool looking Nat Ring. I really like the idea of her using her electric attacks as the Nat Ring. Or as like mini attacks, right? And the final hit does feel really cool. Character-wise, visually, she looks great. Already from her first strong attack, by the way, inflicting a stars, but you love to see it. And with that, we're able to do significantly more damage. And that's what you want to see more so when it comes to resurrections like this, right? She definitely did receive a notable damage increase. And with her gameplay, if you do have her at max transcendence, which, so, you know, you most likely will eventually. Remember, we do have these special move trial quests where you can get free 2 special move levels upgraded. And then she's also quite the common 1000-year Blood War character, getting put in quite a few banners. So when we are demonstrating a max transcendence, eventually that will be the norm for most people. And this is definitely usable, right? If you just want to have fun with a favorite character, I know a lot of people's favorite Bambi is actually Candice. I mean, there's a lot you can do with this character now, thanks to a resurrection. With that said, let's go ahead and use the Soul Bomb. We're pretty much going to nuke all the way through. There we go, 62k on the hit. And remember, we do more damage on the Soul Bomb since we have weakened defense, SP boost, and also more damage to paralyzed enemies. So yeah, just for a quick run, 1 minute 4 second clear time. We weren't really trying to go for a super fast play time regardless. But I'll say just for my first initial run, she definitely feels a lot better now thanks to the added damage that she now officially has thanks to the resurrection. Alright then, so first up, let's take it into co-op Ultra Inheritance Trials, and maybe not the best place to demonstrate her. Again, ideally in IT, you want to use characters that do have killer, but who actually knows? Maybe it'll be semi-decent. We'll definitely try her again once we do have killer, when we are going up against Aaroniero enemies, because one of the great things about Candice right now, or any Aaroniero really, is that in a way they don't need guard break, because Aaroniero enemies don't have melee guard. But right now, we are having to use a few extra strong attacks. Obviously, damage output is actually a notable increase here. The 50% SP boost that we are getting is really good in my opinion. Now, unfortunately, maybe it's a good or bad thing. It really depends on how you look at it. She doesn't have range collision attacks, which means her damage output's gonna be more consistent. There's no like wasted damage for the most part, but then it means she has a harder time to inflict stat augments. But right now it's going semi-goods. Lucky for us, since she was given Long Stride as a innate ability, we can now actually just give her SP and full stamina, allowing her to get more damage output. Because usually for me, when I'm playing with my characters, I like having them with Long Stride, right? So when they naturally have it built in, it just means I'm able to give my characters more damage. Let's use our SA3 there. Then let's use our 2. I think the hope is that we can actually inflict a stat augment against the final bosses, or the bosses more so, coming up. In this case, Misaki and I believe Ryukin. And if we do inflict a stat augment, we are doing quite a bit of extra damage since we are getting the SP boost, and then also more damage to paralyzed enemies. Let's back up. Thanks to the long shot, we were able to actually do that. In this case, it's SA1, then 3. Good damage output against the bosses at the very least. I believe I saw like a 40k there. Ryukin went down quicker since we actually did apply a stat augment. So that was pretty good. But thus far, we haven't gotten hit yet, so gameplay isn't too bad. I haven't had to worry about taking damage here. Although we might be taking a bit of DPS coming up. Fun enough, we are about to go against a Candice. Let's just wait a couple seconds and then use our SA2 back up into the 1. And then let's use our 3. Look at that. For the most part, it looks like 3 strong attacks. 3 strong attacks to take down the boss. That's honestly not too bad, at least when we have the SP boost. In this case, since we are 5-5, we're most likely going to nuke for the entire stage. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Look at that. I mean, even if for some reason we weren't max transcended, right? Even when we used our summon there, we still would have done a lot of damage, right? Because if the enemies were left alive, well, now they're paralyzed and they're also inflicted with weakened defense, allowing us to do more damage. So in this case, a 2 minute and 31 second play time. For a character like this, granted we have worked on it, right? It's kind of expected, to say the least, right? At least when it comes to inheritance trials, you want to use characters either with killer or an increased chance to inflict stat augments. In that case, 2 minutes and 31 seconds can definitely get pushed down to maybe a minute and 40 when she has killer. And in that case, that's a lot more respectable. So play time's kind of in line here. Relatively impressed. Let's try that once more, though. All right, so let's try it once more, right? Let's use our SA1 already inflicting a stat augment. You love to see it. Let's use our SA1 here. I mean, you know, lunge attacks, right? We haven't seen that many lunge attacks nowadays. At least on, like, some of the best characters in the game. Like, when was the last time we had, like, a broken character with a lunge SA1? I guess White, but that's more so on the SA2. That's when we normally see lunges, which I'm kind of okay with it. Lunges used to be like the go-to strong attack 1, then it became beam attacks, because sometimes, you know, lunging yourself into a bunch of enemies isn't really the greatest. But I remember on release, Candice was regarded as having a pretty good lunge SA1, having some really good range to it, and also the speed too. It was pretty good, because even though a lot of characters have lunge SA1s, not every character has the same type of lunge. Some have bad range, some have good range. In Candice's case, more so on the latter. But yeah, we mentioned it yesterday when we talked about this character before she did resurrect. Visually, I think she looks great. It's just the green electric effects, but I think they look really cool. She was definitely my favorite in the banner, more just because of how good she actually was. She had like almost no problem with her gameplay on release. Bambietta, while she was still regarded as one of the best speed characters in the game, she did have a pretty weird SA1, and at the time when characters only had Frenzy plus 1 and a 20% Berserker, having just one bad strong attack really did ruin you. And that's why, for example, Gremmy, who came out a few months later, was a very similar character to Candice in the sense that they had the same SA2, same SA1. We absolutely destroyed these bosses, by the way. They were both mind and run killers with the Quinty affiliation, but the difference is that Candice had a better SA1. And just because of that alone, Candice was just the better character. Let's go here, though, use our SA1 into the 2. SA2 always feels powerful to use. SA1 does a bit of damage there. Fortunately, not enough to kill the bosses. That's fine, though, thanks to the built-in long stride. We are able to easily keep ourselves safe. Candice went down with our second strong attack. Bambietta had to use one more. That's fine, though, because once more, we're in the final stage where we have a pretty powerful summon. Because remember, right, she has weakened defense, a 60% Berserker, now with more damage to paralyzed enemies, and also the SP boost, right? So that summon is able to do a ridiculous amount of damage, as you can see there, and then we can finish up with the 2, doing 96k on each hit right there on the SA2. I mean, it's a noticeable damage buff, right? If we tried an IT co-op before Resurrected, there's enemies alive. Oh my god. Oh, what has always happened? I got caught off guard. I need to stop putting my controller down when I finish it. When I think I finish a quest, apparently. What was I even saying? So yeah, noticeable damage increase, right? This is something that she would not be able to do if she didn't have this resurrection. It'd be significantly slower, probably approaching 3+ minutes. And you know, while this playtime right now isn't anything super impressive, again, we're kind of using in a worse situation here. You don't really want to use characters like this in Inheritance Trials when they don't have killer. But when she does have killer, I mean, she can be a fairly fun character to play with. I really do believe that. I mean, right now, she wasn't too bad. If you're like me, don't really care about maximizing each drop, each individual run. Unless you're trying to max out your entire box, sometimes it's okay just to have fun with any character you want to use. And in this case, the Resurrection made this significantly more fun. Whenever there's a rank at IT, we'll definitely try her again. And this damage increase will definitely allow her to be also good in Guild Quest content, like the immediate rank week. Which, granted, does have a lot of competition, and she's never going to compete with those characters, but she's definitely a lot more usable now in that GQ. And will make for a decent league, which again, we'll also try once more when that GQ does come back around. Alright then, so here we go. So I like trying out characters in Inheritance Trials more so because this is where this was like the hardest content at the time when these characters came out, right? And then we can actually have a better look at her numbers here. We're doing like 50k per hit, and that's without the SP boost right now. So once we do apply the SP boost, which might be a tad bit hard to do in this case because we are one-shotting, like we'll kill him before we can even inflict the status on him. If anything, I guess we could try the Night String. I choose the SA1. There we go. We finally got the SP boost. 80k on the strong attack. And I think a boss just spawned in and we absolutely annihilated them there with the SA3. I choose R2. Got the SP boost again. Okay, that's good. A lot of hidden enemies here, unfortunately. I did not come prepared. And then now, let's nuke with the 3. 80k once more. And then use R2. Right now, just the hidden enemies are kind of just ruining the run. And then let's go up here. Use our sub on once more. Unfortunately, did not nuke through because, again, hidden enemies, right? But that's fine. Because the strong attacks, at least, are coming through, one-shotting all the bosses. So, imagine this back in 2020. It would have been absolutely crazy. Either way, though, we were clearing fast. We were clearing super smooth. 1 minute and 16 clear time. Could have been a lot faster, but we didn't have hidden enemies. So, there was a few enemies slowing us down. But still, pretty good nonetheless. But yeah, with that said, that's basically Candice's resurrection in a nutshell. It's overall a very good resurrection. Since the character, and we're going to see that a lot with the recent upcoming 1000-year Brother resurrections, is that most of them already have good range, so we're not going to see any character pick up Havoc as of late. That was something that we were looking forward to with the old 1000-year Brother character because they lacked the range. These new generation of 1000-year Brother resurrections all already have good range. So the resurrection should only and will only be focused on extra utility effects, again like Longstride for example, maybe weaken defense on a few characters, but most importantly, more damage output. And in Candice's case, more damage to paralyzed enemies, 40% to be exact, more Berserker, only 10% again, would have loved to see that go higher, and then also a 50% SP boost, definitely does increase her damage output. This, in my opinion, especially given that she's now easier to max transcend, given that you have access to these special new trial quests, makes her a pretty fun character. That's what Resurrection should be, make the characters more fun, that's what this Resurrection did. I had a lot of fun playing with it today, and again, I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out once more whenever we are able to go against Aaroniero enemies, because that's something that she will definitely be good in, especially given the Aaroniero enemies do not have melee guard. So while it's a tad bit unfortunate she didn't pick up guard break with her resurrection, no character has as of yet, it's not that big of a deal for her when you want to use it in her ideal situation against Aaroniero enemies. So definitely expect another showcase coming up in the future when we can go against Aaroniero enemies. Either way, I enjoyed playing with this character today. Really good resurrection. Let me know what you like to think about her resurrection in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.